Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome Pakistan, and of course congratulations to all of Pakistan and Pakistanis in Pakistan or across the world, because today is Yawm-e-Pakistan, also called Pakistan Resolution Day. 84 years back on this very day in 1940, the Lahore Resolution or the Pakistan Resolution was passed by a handful of Muslim leaders who wanted to carve out a separate state for the Muslims of the subcontinent because of all the issues that the Muslims in the subcontinent were facing. March 23rd proclaimed the birth of a nation, at least in the ideation realm, and the launch of a struggle to carve out a territorial base in India's body politic. This was of course moved in the second open session in the afternoon of March 23. Just to give you a little bit of a historical perspective, it was moved by Premier Fazlul Haq of Bengal and seconded by Chaudhry Khalid Kuzzama, and this lengthy resolution comprised 450 words, was supported by Maulana Zafar Ali Khan, Sardar Aurangzeb Khan and Sir Abdullah Haroon before the session was adjourned till the next day. And in fact, it was on March 24 when discussion of the resolution was resumed. It was supported by Muhammad Ismail Khan and others, and discussion on the resolution was then suspended to accommodate two other resolutions on Palestine and of course on the Khaksar police clash. Later, Sayyid Zakir Ali, Begum Muhammad Ali and Maulana Abdul Hamid also spoke. Then it was supported by the accredited leaders of the majority and minority Muslim provinces, while the Associated Press of India at that time put the audience at the impressive figure of 100,000. It is true that the resolution was adopted on the 24th of March, but the first critical step towards its adoption was taken on the 23rd of March. Also on the same day in 1956, our first constitution was put into effect, and which also laid the grounds for the Islamic Republic of Pakistan. 23rd of March is an auspicious day, ladies and gentlemen, historically, philosophically, politically, and of course geostrategically as well for the Muslims of the subcontinent and also for the Muslims in general, because since 1947 and to date, our country has tried its level best to highlight all the issues that confront the Muslims and the Muslim world, whether it be the illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir issue, whether it be the Palestinian issue that still embroils, of course, the world and the Middle East, and so many other points where Pakistan has always stood up for the Muslim world. Today, we observe and celebrate the 23rd of March because it is because of that very day that Pakistan was created in 1947 on the 14th of August. It became independent, and since then we have the Muslims of the subcontinent, at least a huge part of the Muslims of the subcontinent, have a land that we call our own, where we can profess our religion and live freely in a society that we can call our own. To talk more about it, we've been joined by many guests that will be online and also in the studios. We've been joined by two important guests. Let me introduce them to you one by one. On my very right is Air Marshal retired Masood Akhtar Saab. He's a senior analyst. Thank you very much, sir. And it had been a long time coming. Welcome to my show again.
Thank you.
And of course, our second guest is no stranger to our show, Dr. Salma Malik. She's a senior analyst. Thank you, ma'am, to have come all the way to the studios. I know that, the fasting timings and everything are a bit tedious, and then to come to the studios is not easy. Let's begin with you, sir, Marshal Saab. Pakistan resolution is moved in the second open session on the afternoon of March 23rd. It calls for their homelands, territories and state so that they can develop to the fullest their spiritual, cultural, economic, social and political life in a way they think best and in consonance with their own ideas and according to the genius of the people. A Pakistan envisioned by the Qaid, a landmark for Muslim nations, an ideal example for the world to follow. Is today's Pakistan a true image of what Qaid-e-Azam Muhammad Ali Jinnah had envisioned?
When we go back to 1940, this resolution, and our viewers must know, proposed a confederation. It talked of sovereign, independent states within the state of Pakistan. We must also know that this was revisited twice, once at Madras and then in 1946 in Delhi. And here we have a country and a land which is full of resources. We are sitting on the mouth of two of the biggest energy reserves in the world, Central Asia and Middle East. And all the energy should be flowing through us. And examples abound. For example, you look at Singapore, 10 years. And although it's a small city-state kind of a country, but Lee Kuan Yew brought this sleepy fishing village infested with corruption into the first world in 10 years. And today they are a part of G8. The principles remain the same. Whether we want to raise a family, we want to run an air force, an army, a navy, or a country, the principles remain the same. And number one principle, integrity.
All right, we got to apply ourselves. Dr. Salma, how has Pakistan emergence on the world map transformed South Asia in the region? Do you feel Pakistan, being a member of the international community, has played the role of a responsible nation in the resolution of the issues that have been facing humanity and in establishing global peace?
Thank you so much, Omar. After hearing Air Marshal Masood Akhtar, you feel pretty unconfident talking about objectives resolution and issues specific to the Confederation and the trajectory of the state. But few things that Pakistan was born with. Number one, of course, was the trauma of partition, where so many people lost their lives, lost their livelihoods, lost their loved ones. The families were partitioned. The homes were partitioned. There was enormous loss, both in terms of mankind as well as material. And then very soon to that episode, another thing unfolded, and that was the Kashmir issue. And that has taken up so much of energy. And unfortunately, where Kashmir has now landed, we can see how cleverly this all has been played. So for Pakistan, the aspect was very clear. And that was also ingrained in this 1940 resolution.
Dr. Salma, we've got to just take a very small break, and we'll be right back. Stay tuned. Welcome back. You're watching the newsroom, and of course this is the 23rd of March special, and we were discussing with Dr. Salma about the role of Pakistan in the world and of course how Pakistan has transformed South Asia and the region. Yes, Dr. Salma.
Yeah. So I was, while we went on a break, talking about this factor that even in the resolution of 1940, there was a resolution on the Palestinian issue at that time as well. So even before the birth of the state of Pakistan, the concern about human rights, the plight of Muslims worldwide, talking about the righteous stuff and all, was part and parcel of the DNA of the Muslim League, which was the founding party of Pakistan. And that is the charter that Pakistan carried with us. And we have seen that in the United Nations, standalone measures, bilateralism, regionalism, minilateralism, Pakistan has always championed the rights of those who are oppressed. It has also always voiced those rights. Pakistan, even at this time, was one of the first countries to call the genocide undertaking in Palestine. So yes, Pakistan has been very, very active when it comes to the rights and championing the rights of the beleaguered and talking about these notions. It is unfortunate that despite all of this thing, it has not been able to gather that type of traction that should have been there when it comes to the Indian occupied Jammu and Kashmir. But that also shows how the world actually has a double standard when it comes to talking about human rights. But
it's very important that countries like Pakistan continue to highlight and continue to propagate issues that confront the Muslim world and humanity at large. I think this is extremely important. We've also been joined, ladies and gentlemen, by Professor Dr. Riaz Ahmed. He's a historian. Sir, thank you very much to have joined us. I know you are waiting and been patient since quite some time. I'd like you to kindly go back in time and recount whether you were part of the discussions or whether you were amongst the people who were listening to or even heard stories about the 23rd of March 1940. Would you recount some incidents?
Okay, what has been said, but thank you for your reminding me. I want to focus on 23rd March 1940 because this is the day I look forward. This is a very historic day which we should celebrate all of the Muslim nation, which was we see at the time more than 1 lakh people participating in the Minto Park. Now it is Minar Pakistan, participating under the leadership of Qaeda Muhammad Ali Jinnah, the founder of Pakistan, that they resolved to make Pakistan at that time. And although it is in the books it is named as Lahore Resolution, Pakistan was given by the Indian press that this is Jinnah's Pakistan. But let me give you the widow of late Maulana Muhammad Ali Jawhar, in her speech, made it clear that this is Pakistan, and which has been mentioned very little in most of the books. So she was the only lady speaking in the session, and who termed this resolution as the Pakistan resolution. And this was the resolve by the nation, and in which the people from all over the Indo-Pak subcontinent, from all different corners, areas, provinces, participated, and they resolved to make Pakistan. Then we see this Pakistan as a Muslim state. Even if you read the second part of the Pakistan resolution, they clearly mention that in Pakistan, the due rights, due preservation of their religion, culture, and other things will be provided to all the minorities in Pakistan. So this is how, when Pakistan was created after the struggle of 7 years, on 14 August 1947, it was made very clear by Quaid-e-Azam in his 11th August 1947 speech that Pakistan has come to being. It is going to be an independent nation in which all the communities, including all the minority community, will enjoy equal rights. So that was declaration, first declaration by Quaid-e-Azam. And then we see later on even if you analyze this Constitution 1973 given by late Zulfikar Ali Bhutto, all these things have been covered up in this in our Constitution. So resolution is a day on which we should celebrate it. We should be very happy that our forefathers resolved to make a country, and some people say we are not. No, I don't agree with that. We are a nation.
All right. Thank you very much, Professor Dr. Riaz Ahmed, to have joined us and to have talked to us about some of the historical perspective of the 23rd of March 1940. Coming back to you, Marshal Masood Akhtar Saab, I'd like to go to one of the important issues that Pakistan has highlighted over time, and an issue that has been unresolved, and that is Indian legally occupied Jammu and Kashmir. There was a recent statement by the APHC chairman, Masrat Alambar, senior leaders as well, on the 23rd of March, and they said the ongoing freedom struggle in the Indian legally occupied Jammu and Kashmir is the continuation of the Pakistan movement, and that the Kashmiris draw inspiration from the historic resolution of the 23rd of March 1940. How do you see Pakistan's efforts to morally, diplomatically and politically support Kashmiris for the realization of their self-determination under the relevant United Nations Security Council resolutions? And you feel on this day we also need to highlight the issue that is engulfing the South Asian region and the subcontinent?
I think Pakistan hasn't done bad. Number one, what Dr. Saab was saying, it's true. We are not a bad nation at all. We need to work at the statecraft leadership level. We'll do better. We should be proud of our 2 Nobels. We should be proud of the sports persons that we have produced. We should be proud of the nuclear deterrent that we have produced despite all odds. Likewise, on Kashmir, we haven't done bad at all. We tried to win over Kashmir in '65. We could not for various reasons. The violence continues. The people of Kashmir, and of course, I belong to AJK. So I know for sure the majority of the people in Srinagar Valley, the hearts beat with Pakistan. Whenever there is a cricket match, people generally side with the Pakistan team and not with the Indian team. Modi with his Hindutva has tended to wreak havoc on some of the people who carry the Pakistan flag during these cricket matches. What he has done in the backdrop of removing 370A and Article 35,
35A and
35A has neither been accepted by the people of occupied Kashmir, nor by Pakistan, nor by the people in general across the world, notwithstanding that India being a strategic ally of the Americans for the population, for democracy, and for being a big market. They may not say so openly, but all our prime ministers, whenever they went on to General Assembly and they spoke very, very convincingly that there is a problem, we need to find a solution. But if India thinks that some of the saber rattling that their generals keep doing at the behest of Modi, that we are waiting for an order from the government to come and take over Azad Kashmir, I think they are very, very sadly mistaken. Our military is in good spirit, they are in good state, they can do anything at the military level. If we look at swift retort, we look at our responses in Kashmir against the so-called allegedly surgical strikes, we have done very well. So Kashmir will continue to be on the boil. It is a continuation of Pakistan movement. In fact, the Pakistan resolution envisaged that Kashmir is going to be, in words or in ways more than one, be a part of Pakistan. But I think we haven't done bad at all. We will do better. All that we need to do is to apply ourselves, be able to reason through complex problems, which we have not been able to. But to say that we will have to give up on our stance on this, no. We should continue the diplomatic support, the political support, the moral support, and I think someday, not in the near future, but in the distant future, things could get better for us and for the Kashmiris.
Inshallah. Okay. Now, speaking of, coming back a little in the past and moving forward, when you look at what is happening in illegally occupied Jammu Kashmir and also in India as far as the persecution of Muslims is concerned, and the way there's a rising wave of violence against them and the brutalities that are being committed, don't you feel that the Muslim leadership in the 1940s and of course beginning even before that made the right decision to carve out a separate state for the Muslims of the subcontinent?
Absolutely. When we look at the history of Muslim League, Pakistan, Muslim League and even Muhammad Ali Jinnah, initially all of these people advocated, Sir Syed also talked about living and coexisting with the Hindus and having no issues there. Because they wanted to stand together in getting liberation from the British. But it was very late in the day. In fact, when Jinnah is blamed for this notion that, oh, he was a separatist from day one and all of that stuff, that wasn't the case. He fought a very strong legal battle, and a legal battle only when he realized that living with the Hindu leadership and the Hindus is not going to provide the Muslims of this area their due right. And believe me, when we go to India and we see the plight of the Muslims there, even in the main city centers such as in Delhi, the Nizamuddin, Mehruli areas and others, it actually reaffirms the faith as to why Pakistan was created and any doubts that we have, because in this age of social media, young people are exposed to so much of information that they keep questioning why, and why Jinnah did this, why did Pakistan happen. Then obviously the other question that is associated with this Pakistan resolution aspect is the two-nation theory. All of those things today stand absolutely validated when you look at, and the international audience is looking at what is happening to the Muslims in India under Modi, and this had started to happen not only under Modi. Under Modi it has become much more pronounced and in the face. It was always there. The Babri Mosque issue started right at the eve of the partition. So it is not that it is something to do with the Saffronized Brigade or the RSS and all of those aspects. It has everything to do with the fact that secularism was used as a very good cover to legitimize India's acceptance on the world order, and India got lucky in several parameters, and even in 1940, the Muslim League leadership did not show any hatred against Indians.
Of course.
They did not show any hatred against Hindu leadership. They just asked for equal equity, equality for themselves, and a Muslim and a homeland for the Muslims, which could be as secular as it could be. And I think if we need to revisit our history or our Pakistan studies curriculum, as a teacher, I would say that we need to do a couple of things, and one is that make the history a bit more fascinating to the young ones. In this age of internet and cyber and AI, you cannot compel children to read dry stuff which they cannot associate with. So you need to make these things more applicable, more something that they actually believe in, and they understand why Pakistan was created, why we celebrate days such as 23rd March. It's not all about the song and dance, it's not all about the music, it's not about the beautiful air show
It's
and
about
the
the sacrifice.
parade. It is actually commemorating several things rolled in one: the sacrifice, the strength of this handful of leadership that managed to get Pakistan out of the clutches of the British, who were not willing to concede an inch. See what they did when the Red Cliff Award was being handed out. And the Hindu leadership. Sardar Patel was livid when Pakistan was created. And that's just one example, and there were so many of these examples that there are. But we have to understand, we have to make our young ones understand, so that they believe and hold a firm faith in the state of Pakistan at such difficult times. And this is those difficult times when we need to reaffirm our resolution in the Pakistan Day and in Pakistan, and in this resolution that culminated in the birth of the state of Pakistan.
Yeah, Marshal Saab, I'll kind of extend what Dr. Salma was saying. You know, I'd like to refer to something that you had also alluded to in your first answer. This is a quote by Qaid Muhammad Ali Jinnah. He's a statement. He said, "With faith, discipline and selfless devotion to duty, there is nothing worthwhile that you cannot achieve." Are Jinnah's these widely used words that you also, you know, kind of change the sequence of unity, faith and discipline understood in their true sense by the youth of today, for example? Do they comprehend the sacrifices that were made by our elders in order to carve out this land for them, where they can do whatever they feel and, you know, roam around freely as free citizens of a nation? How important is it to make them cognizant of all these sacrifices that were made, of all that was done by our leaders, and what needs and how they need to move forward as the younger generation also, because we are in a majority as far as the youth of Pakistan is concerned?
I entirely agree with Dr. Salma. We need to fascinate these children of today with truly what happened during partition, with the ideals that Jinnah had, Iqbal had, and being a sky blue warrior, to add something interesting to it. Let me tell you the kind of sacrifices that people gave for this country.
Yes.
And I will narrate to you an actual incident which was told to us by late Group Captain Cecil Chaudhary, who was a Christian. And he says that in 65 war, on 6th of September, they are sitting on benches in Sargodha. The aeroplanes are not ready. The sun is going down, and they are expected to go and strike Adhampur or Halwada, either of the two, because they were busy since morning supporting the army in Lahore. So the aeroplanes were difficult to come by because there could be maintenance problems and so on and so forth. So Cecil Chaudhary Sahab says, he tells Rafiqi, who was a squadron commander, and mind you, they were all street smart fighter pilots, but the kind of spirit that they had. So he says, I said, sir, why don't you talk to the air chief? The sun is going down. We've already lost surprise. They'll be waiting for us. So Rafiqi says, Cecil, you don't want to, because he was a little, he was a little annoyed with Cecil Chaudhary. He said, Cecil, you don't want to come on this mission? There are 5 more people who want to go on this mission. And you know what Cecil says? He says, I told him, sir, even if you go to hell, I will follow you there. And you know, Rafiqi was very happy on this. So as the aeroplanes get declared and as they are walking to their Sabres, F-86s, he says, Cecil, come here. He says, Cecil, your wife is not going to forgive me because I'm taking you to a place from where we may not come back. You know what, Cecil Chaudhary Sahab, he's passed away now after a meritorious service. Even after retirement, running the schools, the missionary schools. So he says, sir, it doesn't matter. If you don't come back, let her say what she wants to say. And you know, Rafiki was very happy. So these are the kind of sacrifices that people have made for this. Muslims as well as Christians as well as the minorities. What Dr. Salma said and what you said, I entirely agree with you. We should make history interesting. We should make it how to think, not what to think. We should inspire people with what Quaid-e-Azam said when he said whether you are Muslims or Sikhs or Christians has got nothing to do with the business of state. This must inspire the rank and file of all politicians, all military leaders, all political leaders, all academics, and we should come up as per that. When Iqbal says that, he quotes Surah Al-Imran, the 64th ayat, and he says, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, O Prophet, tell these people of the book, let's get together on one Allah. And that means, without getting into any debate, internationalism, not nationalism. So we got great ideals from our founding fathers. Then, of course, the sequel, we drew the objectives resolution out of Pakistan resolution. Article 4 says, whereas the principles of democracy, freedom, equality, tolerance and social justice, and mind you, this is unfortunate that even we people did not know. When I became a 2-star and I made CA National Defense course, for the first time I read, and mind you, I am a Topian and a Sargodian. And I was a 2-star at that time. For the first time I read this, that, oh, this is contained in our constitution, that we must have democracy, freedom, equality, tolerance, social justice, and the last portion is, should be fully practiced, meaning thereby the Prime Minister, the President, we the 2, 3, 4 stars, Army Chief, Air Chief, Naval Chief, the Chief Justice, nobody is immune to this. So great ideals were given to us, have been given to us. Our history is, I think, by any measure glorious. We haven't done bad in terms of vision. The only thing we need to do is to fascinate and inspire not only the coming generation but today's generation. We people also need to learn. And once we work through these things and reason through these complex problems, examples abound. The spirit of Pakistan resolution, objectives resolution, of Jinnah and of Iqbal and of the Holy Prophet and Misaq-e-Madinah gives us ample guidance. We should do well.
All right, Dr. Salma, I mean, this is a wonderful discussion that we are having. I'd like to, go towards the statement that our Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif Sahab made, and he talks about reaffirming our steadfast resolve to make Pakistan a beacon of peace, progress and stability. And he also said we must not forget our decisions and actions today will determine the future of our nation and generations to come, and we should strive for a Pakistan free from all forms of religious, ethnic and political divides, that of course you also referred to, sir, where our shared values can flourish. How, in your point of view, you teach so many youth of Pakistan, you have yourself taken part in so many fora, how do you feel we should renew our resolve to strengthen our country in a way so as to remove these barricades?
Not just make one day dedicated to renewing the resolve. Every day should be there to renew this resolve and keep on doing it time and again. And as I said, revisit the curriculum, make it more a learning and a knowledge based thing rather than rhetorical. And then several other things. I think we really need to go back and see why are we actually losing faith in the system? What is happening? There are certain things which are environmental, they are atmospheric, and there are certain things that need to be revisited. And as I said, not only just one day should be dedicated to this, every day is a commemoration of what sacrifices have brought us to this point today, and we need to celebrate and cherish what we have been given. Then also we need to understand, and I think this has been a welcomed return, that somewhere in the past few decades, Quaid-e-Azam's 11th August speech, where he talks about what type of a state of Pakistan that he envisions, which combined with this resolution actually gives you the charter of what this country is all about. It's as secular as it could be. It provides freedom for everyone to promote their religion, to believe in their religion, to do their faith, everything that goes with it, plus the fact that everyone needs to be a member of the society rather than have an inclusive approach rather than an exclusive approach. So all of those factors need to be seen, and we need to be more introspective and realize, are we really doing this? Do we really understand if any of the minority members, when they are being castigated, are we actually making sufficient noise about it rather than just being rhetorical? Or are we just doing those likes and clicks and the hearts and the emojis that go with it?
So we need to have a collective resolve.
We have to have an action-oriented approach. We need to have a knowledge-based approach. So all of these things combined, and we also need to have a legislator which is very alive to what is happening on the ground, the voters' plight, what has brought them here, and they have to be brave. And I know it's a very difficult situation, because many a times questions such as blasphemy, other factors are something where even when the legislators believe very passionately, and especially women legislators, they cannot do it because they lose their lives. They face a lot of difficult situation, and we have seen several examples as that. So I think there has to be a slow, gradual introspection, going back to the roots, realizing what we have done wrong, and taking it piece by piece and correcting it and getting into a course correction.
And reconstructing our society, reconstructing our nation, and making Pakistan stronger, as envisaged by our Qaid, as envisaged by Allama Iqbal. Thank you very much to both of our guests, Marshal retired Masood Akhtar Sahab, and of course Dr. Salma Malik Sahiba, to have joined us. I'd like to end with this quote by Quaid-e-Azam Muhammad Ali Jinnah. He said Pakistan was not only just honorable and a practical solution of the most complex constitutional problem of this great subcontinent, but now we need to plan to build and reconstruct and regenerate our great nation. Pakistan, of course, ladies and gentlemen, has been there for decades, and inshallah will be there for many decades and centuries to come. And I'd like to end with this quote: there is no power on earth that can undo Pakistan. We need to work together as one, as a nation, despite our differences, and reconstruct Pakistan to build it in the image of our Qaid and Allama Muhammad Iqbal and all our leaders who have sacrificed for this great nation that we call the Islamic Republic of Pakistan. Happy Pakistan Resolution Day, everybody. Allah Hafiz.